Hey there, I'm Lynn Carpenter with Blissful Heart Coaching. If you've ever felt the pressure to choose between being true to yourself and disappointing someone you care about, this video is for you. Because here's the unspoken truth. Disappointing others is sometimes the most loving thing you can do, especially if it helps you avoid the mistake that keeps so many women stuck, abandoning their true inner compass the moment someone expresses disappointment in them. And when I say inner compass, I mean your soul aligned values, the ones that feel true to who you are at your core, not the ones that you inherited to keep the peace and earn love. In my coaching work, especially alongside my horses, I see how often that compass gets buried under years of invisible pressure. That's why I talk so much about something I call bridling. When I talk about bridling, I'm drawing from the world of horses. In thoughtful horsemanship, a horse learns to respond to gentle pressure while ideally staying connected to its spirit. But many of us as humans internalize that pressure so deeply, we started to bridle ourselves, suppressing our true thoughts, emotions, and desires in order to stay safe, accepted, and loved by the people we depended on. The unbridling process is about gently loosening those old reins, healing the survival adaptations that once kept us safe, and reconnecting with our whole, worthy, soul-led self. This week's theme is true self-alignment, or what I like to call wild and free. That moment when you realize, my soul wants one thing, but the people around me want something else. A client of mine once left a high-status job to start a business that felt deeply aligned with her values and soul. Her mother said, "We raised you better than this. What will people think?" But here's what we uncovered together. Her mom's discomfort wasn't really about the job. It was about losing the reflected status of having a daughter in that role. Here's the controversial truth that changed everything for me. The people who get upset when you start living by your authentic values are usually the ones who benefited the most from you abandoning them. When your values clash with others' expectations and you're no longer willing to play the role that made them feel good, you're no longer their source of external validation. Let's talk about what happens when you keep abandoning your values to keep others comfortable. You feel exhausted after family dinners, like you left your real self outside. And that's what I call living emotionally hungover from performing instead of being. You fall into the explanation trap, over justifying even the smallest decisions, hoping no one will think you're selfish. You experience values confusion because you're questioning whether your values are even yours, or if you just absorb them to stay safe, loved, or praised. And the worst part, your body starts to ache in ways your mind can't explain, because you're living a life shaped by everyone else's expectations but your own. Here's what I've discovered. The discomfort you feel when living authentically is temporary. The soul-crushing exhaustion of abandoning your inner compass, that becomes your permanent state. Unbridling means choosing to live by your compass, even when others don't get it. It means building the muscle of disappointment tolerance, learning that someone else's discomfort doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. It means noticing those old bridling patterns and choosing differently. Voice framing is saying, "I don't know," when you do, or speaking apologetically. Herd approval seeking is scanning faces for validation before you act. Self-shrinking is minimizing your presence to avoid conflict. Boundary trampling is saying yes when your body screams no. And intuition bridling is overanalyzing instead of feeling into decisions and trusting yourself. Your body knows the difference between authentic and borrowed values. Authentic values feel expansive, like you can breathe deeper when you honor them. Borrowed values feel heavy, like you're carrying someone else's backpack up a big hill. I used to think keeping the peace was noble, biting my tongue at family dinners, agreeing to plans I didn't want, laughing off comments that hurt. And then one day I realized I didn't even know who I was underneath all that accommodation and shape shifting for others' approval. I had allowed my values to get so buried under everyone else's expectations, I couldn't access them anymore. The unbridling process has been a gentle unfolding for me, a practice of remembering that my needs matter, that my voice counts, and that I'm allowed to take up space. One situation that really tested this was when I found myself in a caregiving role, where there were strong opinions about what I should do. I could feel the familiar pull to abandon myself to meet those expectations. And at first, I did slip back into old patterns, sacrificing my needs until I was depleted and resentful. But this time, I recognized what was happening sooner. I remembered that I couldn't show up authentically for anyone when I was running on empty. So I started honoring my need for rest, my boundaries around availability, my value of balancing caregiving. And yes, there was disappointment from others, but here's what happened. I became more patient, more present, more genuinely loving because I was finally taking care of myself too. Now, when my values clash with someone else's desires, I ask myself, what would I choose if I truly trusted that my authentic self is worthy of taking up space in this world? The answer is always clear. My body knows, my soul knows, and now I follow that. If you're feeling lost or unsure of what your authentic values even are, I've created something specifically for you, my free Discover Your Unbridled Values Workbook. And it's the exact process I use with clients to distinguish between values you adopted for survival versus soul alignment, identify which values drain versus energizes you, create your personalized, unbridled values compass statement, and start living from inner truth instead of outside approval. This workbook isn't just a free resource. It's the exact tool I use inside my Unbridled Authenticity coaching program to help clients reconnect with their soul-aligned values and to start living from their own internal compass. The link is in the description below because you were never meant to live bridled. Your values are your compass, and your soul already knows the way. You were born to be wild and free. Let your values lead. And remember, sometimes disappointing others is the most loving thing you can do because you're choosing truth over performance and giving them permission to do the same. The world doesn't need another person abandoning their truth to keep the peace. The world needs you living authentically. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.